This is Varsity Media Sports Network. Sam Schreier and Paul Gotham. We are with this big football matchup tonight. It's the Class C championship game between the Livonia Bulldogs and the Bath Rams. And glad to have both of the coaches for tonight's game along. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Hey guys. So big game. It's been quite a season, right? We were able to finally get a season in, albeit 6 regular season games and only 4 teams making the sectionals. My question for you is that making it to this is a huge accomplishment in this COVID year. Just some of your thoughts, a little bit about what you guys went through throughout to get ready for the season, into the season, and then what it means to be in this game at this point. Whoever wants to start. Yeah.
I was going to do it alphabetically.
Seniority.
Yeah, right. I get, my response to that would be that, starting in the fall, we just sort of got guys together whenever we could. And we talked about, would we have a season? Would we not have a season? We tried to be as positive as we could be with the kids and just say, sort of plan that we were going to have it. And then in the winter, when they finally decided that we would have a season, obviously I was really excited. I took over for John Gammon in October when he took the principal's job. And so it was nice, to be honest with you. It was kind of nice to have like 3 or 4 months to prepare for the season and try to get the guys ready as much as possible before March 1st came along. But, I've been telling my kids, just, feel blessed, feel lucky to be out there, treat anything you have as a gift in these kinds of circumstances. So that's been our philosophy, I guess you could say.
Awesome. Coach Ford?
Yeah, much like Chris just said, I mean, there's just so much unknown leading into the season. And, typically our programs, we like to do off-season training. All of our Livingston teams, we take pride in that weight room, and not being able to be there with the kids, training, not being, building that camaraderie amongst the guys. And, it was definitely frustrating. You tried to stay positive, and as soon as they said wrestling was a go, I was like, all right, I think we're good. So that was definitely, it just really lifted all of our spirits. And then when we found out they were going to have a sectional championship, it kind of sweetened it a little bit for the kids. It's always good to have something to strive for, that little extra, because some of our neighboring sections didn't have it. It wasn't that way. So very, very fortunate. I think Section 5 did a great job making sure that happened. In terms of the season, boy, talk about being grateful. Like take nothing for granted. Like just tonight with the kids, it was a little hot out there today. The kids, they're having a hard time getting acclimated. It's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold. And just making sure that they understand that these are precious moments in their lives right now. They're making a lifetime of memories, and we're just so thankful that we had a season, and to be in the championship is just unbelievable.
This year, with the way everything has gone down, does it make it more of an accomplishment to win the championship once you do it? Or is it just, you win the sectionals? That's a great thing, but does it mean more? Does it mean more to the kids? Does it mean more to you guys?
Matt, it's your turn to go first.
Well, anytime you're dealing with any kind of adversity, it definitely makes things, it kind of elevates it for sure. And, when you think about the shortened season, the shortened weeks, you don't have as much time to prepare and heal up, and, we're all dealing with it. And every week you don't know if you're going to get hit with a COVID case and everything shut down. That's another reason why you didn't take anything for granted, is because you just never know when things might come to a crashing halt. Like it did happen to a couple of our teams in our section, our classification. So, a sectional championship is a sectional championship to me. it's tough either way. Whether, we have 14 teams, I think, right, in Class C.
Yeah.
Four make it. I mean, I think all of us coaches knew you pretty much had to have a perfect season if you were going to be in the mix. So that part of it made it tougher, because typically we'd have 8 out of 14.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I guess you could argue it was harder this year, I think.
I would agree with that. I think Matt's point about preparation, games that, you have 5 days or whatever, 6 days between games instead of a week. The overlapping season. I mean, I had a bunch of guys, 7 or 8, I think actually 9 or 10 guys on the varsity boys basketball team were football players. And, so juggling, trying to get those kids to just come, the basketball coach was great saying, they can go for an hour, but don't run them and, keep their legs fresh and, they can't go on game days. And so, we're in sectionals, we're playing basketball games. And so I got half my guys there, I'm missing 10 guys. I got, 11 guys there, missing 10. I do think that playing football in April is special. I mean, that's unique. I think under these circumstances, I do think it's like Coach Ford said. I think it's been harder. It really has been. I feel, I've been doing it since 1996, and it's definitely been really a lot of logistical stuff with COVID and distancing and masks and where are kids going to get changed and where's the locker rooms going to be, all those kinds of things that you never had to deal with before. Kids showed up in the locker room, they put their stuff away, you go out on the practice field, they go back in, they mess around for a little while, and then they go home. I mean, and now it's, who's in, who's out, who's upstairs, and who's downstairs, who's here, who's there. So there was a lot of things that we all had to deal with, like Coach said, that were so unique. And 4 teams making it, like he said, out of 14, Class B has 8 schools, and 50% of the teams in Class B made sectionals, and in Class C, I mean, it's less than a third. It's 25% or whatever. So I think like Coach said, the pressure was on kids who wanted to have a postseason, and the coaches too, to get them ready and have them ready every single week. And it was a challenge. It was a real challenge.
Paul, if you want to,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, let's talk game specific stuff. We'll go, Matt. How about if we go with you first? When you watch Livonia on tape, what jumps out at you about that team?
Their whole team pretty much jumps out at me. Obviously, Livonia is an incredibly talented team, and you're just talking about size, speed, athleticism, discipline, all that good stuff. Their playbook looks familiar. Coach Genthner and I could talk on the side about that, but Livonia is just traditionally, I mean, they're going to hit. You better be ready. If you're not ready, then you're going to be in trouble quick. So we tip our cap to their program. It's top notch, and it's definitely a tall order, but I think our guys, it's Bath Livonia. That's that.
Chris?
Yeah, I told our guys after the game, we knew, Leroy Bath played an hour before. They started an hour ahead of us, so we knew the result at the end of our game. And I told our guys that we were going to see a mirror image next Friday. We're going to look across the line of scrimmage and be looking in a mirror. We run very similar systems. Some of the formations are exactly the same, and the plays are exactly the same. The philosophy, I think, is very similar. I think our kids are similar as well. We try to be as physical as possible, and I know Bath is the same way. We've been playing Bath for forever. It seems like for a really long time, and we've been beat up by Bath a lot over the years, and by their physicality. And so we're just going to try to match the physicality, and try to run our offense as best we can against a team that knows exactly what we're going to do. And and hopefully our kids will be excited to play. And Coach Ford has done a really terrific job in Bath. Bath, it's like it reminds me a lot of the Bath of the early 2000s. And the way they play physical football, and their discipline, and just punch you in the mouth kind of philosophy. That's really what Bath Livonia football games have always kind of been about. And I can tell you, historically, we were kind of talking about it today as a staff, that historically you played Bath, and hopefully the next week you had guys that weren't really sore and beat up anymore by the time you played your next game, because usually they brought it every single play, and that's what we expect to happen on Friday. So we're happy to be there, and we're looking forward to it.
And
It
again,
was easy making the scout sheets this week, right, Coach?
It really was.
I
Yeah,
always-
our scout offense has been really efficient this week.
I run the scout. I run our scout offense. Our D coordinator, Coach Reckenwald, he's like, Matt, you got this. I'm like, I know I do. I know.
Now, one more question. It's the same question for you. We talked about the pandemic. Usually, you've got your season starts with summer camp, and then you have August, and you have double sessions, September. We usually would be playing this game in November. So there's that length to the season that allows a team to evolve and maybe become something that you didn't think they were going to be at the beginning of the year. Was there even in this shortened season, was there a defining moment or a turning point where everything kind of came into view, that you knew what was going to happen? You kind of knew the course that you were getting on at that point. Chris, we'll go with you first.
It's a really good question. I didn't really, I've never called an offense before. In 24 years, 25 years, I've never called a game. So for me, I had to learn really quickly. Our first game against Penn Yan Dundee, I think, showed us a lot. Initially, it was very close at halftime, and then we went down early in the second half, and the kids, the guys just, they finished really strong, and I think for me that was a good sign. And then going to Hornell too, and playing really well in Hornell. After that game, I thought that we were starting to come together. The first couple of weeks, like you said, we didn't have a preseason scrimmage, which is always really important in terms of evaluating talent, evaluating guys, and seeing who needs to be where. And so we didn't have that, and so that was tough. And then getting the basketball guys late, all that stuff. It was just. It was hard. That first game was really hard to know where we were going to be. But like I said, second half of that game, I would say, gave me some confidence that we were coming together. And then in week 2, going to Hornell, playing really well in Hornell. And then Dansville in the snow. That was a really interesting game. And again, those kinds of things, like Coach Ward said earlier, guys are making memories. And as we walked out on that field, and there was like 2 inches of snow on our field, and I said to my guys, this is something that you're going to remember this like forever. 20 years from now, when you guys get together, whatever, or and are talking about football and reminiscing about football, like the snow game against Dansville is going to be something that you're going to talk about. So I think bringing the guys together, those games, and then just stressing to them, that they really needed to gel, and focusing on those kinds of memory making opportunities was really important for us.
Yeah, in terms of, Bath football, I feel like we talk about the 2-sport athletes, the crossover. I think half my defense, those guys are wrestlers, and So, and then they were going into their sectionals, and the wrestling coach, who I respect, we're good friends. He's like, Matt, you got to shut those guys down. Like I just had him sitting on the sideline. So, and we kind of got off to a rough start because that first game against Whitman, we didn't have 6 starters. We had 3 kids on quarantine who were all starters. Our center, I was on our 3rd string center for the first game. And then from there, it just felt like every week, we had kids that had plans to go on spring break, and we got injuries. Obviously, we just dealt with a big injury this last game, and it's for us. I feel like I know we have our wins, but I feel like we haven't really had. And Coach Genthner probably feels the same way. I'd like a few more weeks of just, you know what I mean, just to kind of get everybody healed up, everybody here.
Yeah.
And I mean, even now the spring sports are starting. So, working with the baseball coaches, our lacrosse coaches, who are great people. And but that's like, we're grateful. We're just incredibly grateful to have a season. But
well, gentlemen, we really appreciate you both spending time with us tonight, speaking to us a little bit about this game coming up and how your seasons have gone. And we wish you best of luck. Great accomplishment being in the championship game. And it should be a fun game. It's going to be mirror images of each other. We'll watch it. It'll be good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks.